Hey everybody, welcome to a new edition of Shane Flynn Outdoors. Hey, before I forget to say it, if you like Shane Flynn Outdoors, hit that subscribe button down there. The more followers we get, the better. And give me a thumbs up or make a comment. So I'm out fishing this afternoon. I'm on Mooney Lake, which is about 5 or 6 miles from my house. It's only about the second time I fished it. I'm just running around. It's overcast. It's got about a 40% chance of rain today. So we're mid-September, and I'm just buzzing out here after work to see if I can pick a few bass up. The pattern has changed, you know, it's kind of cooled off a little bit. Actually, it's a little muggy today, last couple of days, but the water temperature is 78 degrees. So I think those bass are still in that fall transition period. Had a little wind, so I thought I'd throw a spinnerbait around, but as you can see, the water's turned to glass a little bit. So we'll see if we can catch some fish today. Stay tuned, and hopefully we can get a lot of fish and maybe a few big ones. There's one. All right. 12-incher. Oh boy. No, let's get away from it. All right. Right at 12 inches. Yeah, just a little over. On the spinnerbait, I'm back up near, you know, in the back side of these coves, fishing this heavy grass, and seeing if I can get them to bust the spinnerbait, and that's the second one in the last few minutes. So this lake is crystal clear. About an 8-foot visibility. I'm throwing a chartreuse and white spinnerbait, double gold willow leaf blades on it. Actually, one of my good friends, Dave Coleman, sent me this in the care package that I unboxed on the channel. So it's a War Eagle double willow leaf. I'll just show you in just a second. So double willow leaf pattern, white and chartreuse. I always put a little white grub, whiter chartreuse grub on the back, give it a little bit more action. This is not, I think this is ½ ounce. It's got the heavier body. Like I said, this water's crystal clear. 8 foot of visibility is amazing. Lots of vegetation. What I'm doing is I think the bass are pretty active, so I'm just gonna buzz around these weeds. Probably could slow down a little bit. I'm just trying to locate bass at this point. So just buzzing through here with the spinnerbait. Oh, I missed him. Had a bite on one right there. I dropped it down in there. You just take it. So my senko down in that weed pocket. See if that'll. There he is. Pulled him right out. I love it when a plan comes together. Another 12-incher here. So he missed that spinnerbait, slapped at it, and I threw the senko right back in that pocket. So again, you know, right here last, and he's a 13-incher. Nice little bass. Back in the back end of these coves here. So you may be saying, Shane, why throw a spinnerbait? Why don't you just keep on throwing that senko? I am going to throw a senko a little bit more now that I'm back here in the back. I'm trying to target the bass. I don't know this lake. I have fished it one time, just for a couple hours, a couple years ago in my old boat, which was just a little small boat. I didn't go very far on it. So I thought I'd come out here and give this a whirl this afternoon because it's real close to the house after work. Seen one hit the top of the water right there in front of me. Got the weeds. Little guy. This guy is smaller than the actual senko. You wonder why in the world this guy eating? But bass are alpha predators. Look, really, he's the size of the, just barely bigger than a senko. September fishing can be tough. Depending on the transition pattern of the state you're in, the temperatures, the weather patterns, you know, it can be a real tough month. What I have found though is when that temperature starts to drop, the bass and the fall turnover happens in the water and the thermocline starts to turn up, the bass tend to go back to places that they're comfortable. If I know they spawned in a cove, I'll try to target that cove in shallow water. Not saying you're going to catch a big bass every time like you catch in the spring, but it seems like it's a, you know, something, just an indicator that I've came across in my years in fishing. And sometimes absolutely never totally off, but I would say better than 50% of the time. If it comes September and the water's cooled off, and you'll see a video, probably you might see it a couple days, where I was out on a hunting run and I was fishing the late summer deep pattern off the points. Caught a few small ones, but I ended up going in the back of the coves because I knew the bite should have been good. And sure enough, I got back there in the back bays where the wind started rippling around in the weeds and the vegetation. Something else bass like when the thermocline switches over is they tend to go to vegetation. I started catching bass. Now I didn't catch as many as I wanted to because I ran out of time. You know, limited time fishing that day, but it definitely worked. The other day when I was fishing, there's another bass pulling right there. Him in here, another 12, 13 incher. He inhaled that thing. I knew that cove there, look, just about 12, 13 incher, right at 12. That back cove back there just way too good looking of a spot. Might even catch another one in here. So one of the things I tell you about Mooney Lake here, it's a new lake. I guess they didn't start allowing fishing in it until 2016, 2017, so 4 years ago. A lot of smaller bass, because the bass hadn't grown up, but I have seen and heard of fishermen catching a lot of 3 and 4 pounders. You know, in that first year grouping of stockers probably are getting in that 3 or 4 pound range after, you know, 6 or 7 years in the lake, maybe 8 years. And obviously there's probably some, you know, they probably flooded some ponds, some streams that had bass in them. You know, they've also provided to the population of probably some healthier bass. But do get a lot of reports of numbers, but don't see as much on the size wise. With the rarity of, you'll see somebody come out here and catch several 3 or 4 pounder. I think Marty, one of our followers, a few weeks ago was out here. I guess it's been a couple of weeks because Marty was there that day we struggled catching bass on the fall turnover that first day. He ended up catching some, but he came out here the next day. I think he told me he caught several 3 pounders and a 4 pounder. So they're out here. They're a little bit fewer, you know, far and fewer between than you would see at a hunting run or an able lake that's been established for years. So how many YouTube videos have you watched about a bass fisherman saying, my favorite bait is topwater, my favorite bait is a jerk bait in September? I'll tell you what my favorite bait is. It's any bait that the bass will bite. Got a bit right there. There you go. Again, woo, hooked him deep. It's a 10, 12 incher. So the color of my senko that I'm using, I keep saying a wacky worm, it's a senko with wacky worm rig style, red shad. I don't know why, that's kind of like my standard go-to. A lot of people like green pumpkin, watermelon, pepper, black pepper, there's all kinds of different colors. I mean, does color matter? Local fisherman, YouTuber, had a video out the other day. It's all about presentation. When they're finicky, yeah, it matters. On a day like today, it's overcast and got good conditions, not as much. Obviously, I'm out here catching. Well, there's my lightning alert. I got lightning within 10 miles, so that means let's go find a place to. As soon as I reel this back, man. Yeah, it looks like lightning's coming, so we're going to get off the water. A little storm's on its way. We'll go bank somewhere and come back and do some more fishing.